Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Vallabha Girivardhari Jasuranandana Braja Janaranjano Jasuranandana Braja Janaranjano Jamunatira Vanachariya Jamunatira Vanachariya Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Kunja Vihari Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Oh Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasuranandana Brajadanaranjana Jasuranandana Brajajanaranjana Jasuranandana Brajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachariya Jamunatira Vanachariya Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna You want to dance? Hare Rama Oh Rama Rama Hare Sri Radha Madhava ki Sri Radha Giridhari ki srimadbhagavatam ki Samaveda Bhaktivinda ki Jayo Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakachaja Shodhara C.C. Mad His Divine Grace of I Charanada Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Gaura Premanandi All glories to the sum of the devotees, all glories to the sum of the devotees, all glories to the sum of the devotees, all glories, Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. So this morning, reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, 6th chapter. This is text 35. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Vidyatapo yogo pantam ashtitam tam adishwaram jaratam vishva suhridam vatsalya lokamangalam Vidyatapo yogo pantam ashtitam tam adishwaram charantam vishva suhridam vatsalya lokamangalam Vidyatapo yogo pantam ashtitam tam adishwaram charantam vishva suhridam vatsalya lokamangalam. Anyone like to chant? Vidyatapo yogo patam ashtitam tam adishwaram charantam vishva suhridam vatsalya lokamangalam. Vidyatapo yogo pantam ashtitam tam adishwaram charantam vishva suhridam vatsalya lokamangalam. Vidyatapa yogo pandam ashtitam tam adishwaram charantam vishva suhridam vatsalya lokamangalam. Vidyatapo yogo pandam ashtitam tam adishwaram charantam vishva suhridam vatsalya lokamangalam. Okay. Vidya, knowledge. Tapaha, austerity. Yoga pantam, the path of devotional service. Astitam, situated. Tam, him, Lord Shiva. Adishwaram, the master of the senses. Charantam, performing austerity, etc. Vishwasuhridam, the friend of the whole world. Vatsalyat, out of full affection. Lokamangalam, auspicious for everyone. The demigod saw Lord Shiva situated in his perfection as the master of the senses, knowledge, fruit of activities, and the path of achieving perfection. He was the friend of the entire world, and by virtue of his full affection for everyone, he was very auspicious. Please repeat. The demigod saw Lord Shiva situated in his perfection as the master of the senses, knowledge, fruit of activities, and the path of achieving perfection. He was the friend of the entire world, and by virtue of his full affection for everyone, he was very auspicious. And just read this verse over and over and over again. It's like a full meal. Who needs breakfast now? Don't raise your hand. So, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Shiva is full of wisdom and tapasya, austerity. One who knows the modes of work is understood to be situated on the path of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One cannot serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead unless one has achieved full perfectional knowledge in the ways and means of performing devotional service. Lord Shiva is described here as Adishwara. Ishwara means controller, and Adishwara means particularly controller of the senses. Generally, our materially contaminated senses are apt to engage in sense-gratificatory activities, but when a person is elevated by wisdom and austerity, the senses then become purified, and they become engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Shiva is the emblem of such perfection, and therefore in the scriptures it is said, Vaishnavanam yata shambhu. Lord Shiva is a Vaishnav. Lord Shiva, by his actions within this material world, teaches all conditioned souls how to engage in devotional service 24 hours a day. Therefore, he is described here as Lokamangala, good fortune personified for all conditioned souls. What the Buddha was named Lokamangala, wasn't he? The actor? Yeah. Yes, he said it was much easier. Lokamangala. Om Agyanti Mirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksulun Minitam Dena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaur Bhakti Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Pancha Kalpatarupashta Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patidanam Bhavani Bhu Vaishnavi Bhu Namo Namaha. So taking your permission, I'll try to say a few words. Okay. So the demigod saw Lord Shiva situated in his perfection as the master of the senses, knowledge, fruit of activities, and the path of achieving perfection. He was the friend of the entire world, and by virtue of his full affection for everyone, he was very auspicious. It's interesting, in previous purports, when Prabhupada is talking during that fight that was going on, the overrunning the sacrificial arena and everything. It was interesting, Prabhupada at the point that everything would be reconciled in due course of time. In other words, it wasn't that deep animosity, but it was just kind of stuff had to be cleared away. It's kind of interesting you brought that up because some pretty horrible things happened, right? Teeth got knocked out and this and that, heads got cut off, eyes poked out. And it was just kind of like, they kind of ironing out a few issues. And he said everything will be reconciled in due course of time. And, of course, Lord Shiva wasn't there personally, but, of course, was it Virabhadra? Just a hair from his head. And look what he created. And now they're going to that same personality, and look, this is what they see. Right? You'd expect that if someone gets really upset with you and destroys your, beats all your friends up and destroys your this and that and so on and cuts off someone's head, and he's probably going to be there fuming. Is that the word, fuming? Like that. About time you showed up, now I'm going to get you. Right? I want you to stand on that carpet over there. So it wasn't like that at all. The symptom of a great soul, anger is there sometimes, but that anger is not out of envy. It's for our good. And that's one of the things and that's why Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma didn't go. They knew what was going to happen. And they could understand this is, in fact, I think that's when they approached Lord Brahma and asked them, they said, well, you go to Lord Shiva and ask forgiveness and this and that. And in other words, the whole thing was, there's a reason for it. The Daksha had to be taught a lesson, and everyone had to be taught a lesson about Vaishnava Aparad and how to behave properly. So, and I was listening to one class recently, and it was saying that it was in reference to Lord Balaram when he took the kusha grass. Now, Ramaharshan Sutta didn't stand up when he came in. So you can say, could have said, well, you really should stand up. But Lord Balaram killed him. Just walked right over, doop, killed him. And the devotee was saying that you'll see in many Krishna's pastimes, when he does something, he does it in a very dramatic way. Why? So we remember it. If someone said, Ramaharshan, you really should have stood up. Who would remember that one? No one remember that mild rebuke. Oh, you should have stood up. Yeah, I think you should have stood. You should have stood up. Why don't you stand up? Come on, stand up. It wouldn't have been in the books. So Krishna does and the Lord's devotees do things sometimes in a very, very dramatic way to make a very, very important point. Because the symptom, especially in Kali Yuga, is we are dull-headed. What does that mean, dull-headed? Even after 100 times. Right. Dull-headed. Very dull-headed. So I have to be instructed many, 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 many times in hopes that something will, that expression, sink in. Like that. So we're dull-headed. But if something's very dramatic, in fact, they said if you want to remember something, you connect it with emotions, not just facts, but you connect it with some kind of emotion, and then you'll remember it. And so Just like the example is, someone gives you good instruction, but if someone yells at you, you probably remember it. Boy, he was really upset with me. I'll never forget that one. Okay. So there's emotion is there. So there's a lot of emotion in this story. So now turning it around, they're visiting Lord Shiva's abode, and here they come upon Lord Shiva, and this is who they encounter. Now, in the beginning of the purport, full of wisdom and tapasya. What is this? Vidya Vairagya, right? Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya, in the verse in the Bhagavatam. These two things, knowledge and Vairagya, renunciation, tapasya, these kind of things are absolutely necessary for anyone who's spiritually advanced. Actually, to get anywhere in life, you have to have jnana and Vairagya. You can't do anything unless you have some knowledge about something and you perform the necessary austerities to move forward. That's what this charantam means in Sanskrit here. Charantam means moving or performing. Performing what? The necessary austerities, we would say, for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's the root of the point here, is that Lord Shiva is Vaishnavanam Yata Sambhu. So all his activities are favorable to devotional service of the Lord, and his relationship with all living entities is to enliven them and encourage them and teach them about devotional service. So, which one? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's in the, was it 12th canto, that last verse, one of the last verses there, listing all the different things. So, one who knows the modes of work is understood to be situated on the path of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the modes of work, certain modes of work will entangle us in this material world, and certain modes of work will get us out. So someone who's in knowledge, they figured out, wait, this is the best way, the path of devotional service. Bhagavat Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotional service, that's the path to be on. Because you're fully aware, whenever you examine something, you should always examine something in all three phases of time, instead of just the present. And that's called, and sometimes that's called pravritti marg and nivritti marg, right? And nivritti marg means, hey, what's happening today? What are we going to do today? Or right now? No consideration of the past or the future. Because what we did, just like every weekend, it's amazing, many times this is brought up, people wait all weekend long, and what do they do on the weekend? They do all kinds of activities which are horrible, and they suffer from it. And on the Monday, they simply brag about how big of a headache they had, or what the stupid things they did, and how much intoxication they took, and what, you know. And they even have terms for it. Hammered, annihilated. I don't know what they say now. What do they say now? What is smashed? Is that still used? What do they use now? Wasted? This is what they do in their spare time. Annihilation, wasting, hammered, smashed. What do those words conjure up? Destruction, mode of ignorance, like that. So last weekend I did it. I'm going to do it again this weekend. And next week, it's like, but no thought about, how about Monday morning when I have to go to work? What am I going to feel like? So the point is, whatever we do should be thought about in these different phases of time, and future should be pushed out. More than just tomorrow or next. People say, I have a 5-year plan. I met with my financial advisor. Now we have a 10-year plan, 20-year plan, retirement. How about the time of death? How about that plan? What's going to happen then? Where do you go? Just push it out, and push the other one back. Where were you before this lifetime? So that's opening our eyes to all these phases of time. And then one acts very intelligently when they understand the full situation, past, present, and future. The unfortunate thing is Maya makes us think, Prabhu says, that this spot life is everything, is all in all spot life. No, it's everything. It's everything. Well, it's not everything. And it's very, very, very short. That's why, what do they call this planetary system? It begins with an M. Marchaloka. It means a place of death. Well, death comes very quickly here. Very, very quickly. So, And it says here, one can't serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead unless one has achieved full perfectional knowledge in the ways and means of performing devotional service. So that's what we're learning. How to please Krishna. What's actually pleasing to Krishna? I was doing a puja. When is today? Tuesday? Whew. Sunday. First one of the day. The daughter, it's a very nice family. There's two daughters. One's going into college and one's already about ready to go into graduate school. And some professor had asked one of the students, what does God want us to do? That was the question. So she showed me on her phone her answer. Some of it was good, about being compassionate to others and this and that and so on. But I was thinking, I didn't have time to spend much time because it was after the puja and so on, but I was making up the point that, well, if you really want to know what Krishna wants us to do, just read the Bhagavad Gita. It's there. If you want to know what anyone wants to do, just ask him, what would you really want me to do, instead of speculating? Just like you asked me this morning, what's Balaram Das's favorite fruit? Well, I can make up all kinds of things, but better to ask him, right? So if you want to know what his favorite fruit is, because his birthday is on Radhastami, if you want to give him a present, a blessing, or whatever you want to do, his birthday is on Radhastami. So the point being that understanding the path of devotional service and the means of performing devotional service favorably, that's what we're learning. And that's when the service really begins, when one really understands the ways of devotional service, just like a good servant. What's the worst servant? Prabhu says. You have a servant. The lowest class servant is the one that doesn't do anything, right? Prabhupada tells a story about the peons in Calcutta. They'd take a message from one office the day before, and they'd go to Dalhousie Square, and go to sleep for hours, and then, either go and deliver. They'd come back very late, and they said, where were you? He said, oh, Mr. So-and-so wasn't there. I had to wait. Make up a story. But all they really want to do is sleep. So this, what kind of servant is that? You send him the message, and he comes back hours later, and he was actually sleeping the whole time. So low-class servant is they don't do what you want them to do, right? Next one is you tell them. You have to keep telling them, Prabhu, or can you please do this? Oh yes. And then the first-class servant is Damodar. They already know. Yeah, they anticipate. They know. Sometimes you just have to look. Just a little look, and then it's done. Like that. You just automatically know. So that's an example here. So a good servant figures it all out. What exactly the master needs, and it's all right there. It's right there. Practically speaking, nothing has to be said. Like that. That's first-class servant. Like that. So, in a cheerful mood, just like in the Bhagavatam, there's devotional service described in the different modes of nature, like that. If a devotee is kind of angry and moody and resentful of the service, what kind of mode is that? Ignorance. And you got passion, kind of knocking everything out like a bull in a china closet or something like that. And then you got devotional service in goodness, but even beyond that is devotional service in pure goodness. So those descriptions are given. So this is what Lord Shiva is completely expert at. So we have to become expert also. This is very interesting here. This Adishwara. Prabhupada says controller, but it means controller of the senses. Is it the prayers of King Muchakunda? One of the kings in the Bhagavatam is making the point that it comes up that so many kings are very active in controlling and manipulating everything on the outside. But the real control is controlling our senses. I think it's Muchakunda, because he says, I'm conquering the whole world, then I come home and fall at the feet of my queens. So the point being, the real Ishvara is one who's controlled the senses, like that. That's called Goswami. You got Godas and Goswami. That's the real challenge, is controlling our senses. And that's the big thing. Because, really we can never really control the material nature out there. You can't. Just like Prabhupada gave the example when he was talking about expanding ISKCON. He gave the example of Alexander the Great. Now, what was the mistake Alexander the Great made? What was the mistake he made in his campaign? take over, that tract of land. You know the mistake he made? He expanded too quickly. He expanded too quickly and couldn't run it. Administration like that. It's all falling apart. One thing he learned in India is that he really liked the idea that people bow down. So he started asking his generals and all that to bow down to him. They didn't like it. They didn't go for it. They said, "No, sorry, Prabhu, but we're not going to do that. It's not our custom." But he picked that up. He thought it was a nice thing because he knows in India you bow down to your parents and guru. So he thought, but they didn't take that. They didn't like that one at all. Anyways, he expanded too quickly, and he couldn't. Like that. So in other words, you may be big. You see these big empires of business, finance, even countries, empires. But what happened? Where's the Roman Empire now? All it is pizza and pasta there. That's no empire. And a little vino and some cheese. Bread. There's nothing there. It's not a big economy. Italy has a very small economy. It's a tourism. That's about it. And the mafia. That's about it. That's all you got. The mafia and tourism. A little boot. That's all it is. All left is a shoe. That's all that's left of the Roman Empire. A boot. Right? Big empire. All these big empires and financial empires. Right? So people work so hard to control all this, and it all falls apart. So the real thing to control is the senses, the mind and the senses, and Lord Shiva is described here as Adishwara because he has complete control over his mind and senses, like that. So that's a great person. You go, such a person is so great, he's worth this much money, right? Was it Forbes magazine? It was run the wealthiest people in the world, or this or that, and so on. So-and-so has this many millions of dollars, billions of dollars. For a devotee, that's very sad when you see that. That's very, very sad. The great person, the Mahatma or Mahajan, is the one who's actually controlled their mind and senses. That's a great person. To actually control one's mind and senses. Let's see, what are we doing on time? We're moving right along. One thing I want to bring up is this word. You see this word like one of the rasas, Vatsalya rasa? You know what vatsa is? What's a vatsa? You should know. What's a vatsa? Yeah. Here. Vatsal, yeah. Calf. Come here. Cowherd boy here. Why is Vatsalya rasa or this Vatsalya referred to here? Because that name or word is chosen because they're emblems and exhibit such great affection. Cows for their calves. So when you take a calf away, actually the cow cries like that. And the motherly affection of a cow for its calf is exemplary like that. The feelings and emotions and so on. Then we get that little video clip that Buddy Raimar sent out about in Canada. The little calf was on the other side of the cow. And finally the guy came over. He could understand. And that's what it was, and pushed it back underneath there. So they're very intelligent. They're very, very feeling animals. So this parental affection, that's the word it's given, Vatsalya. It's not like a monkey or a chickmunk or a mule or something. A cow. So, and it's translated here, this out of full affection, for everything. He's very auspicious, this Lokamangala, because he's a friend of the entire world. That's unbelievable. Vishra Surhidam, not unbelievable, but very, very rare that one has that type of compassion. Now, how can one be the friend of the entire world? Now, come on. It's because you love Krishna. If you love Krishna, you love everyone. You can't do it independently. It's like we can't send Mukunda out today in the garden and have him to water every single leaf on that tree there. It's not feasible. But if you water the root, then all the leaves are taken care of. So how can one become Vishwasurhidam? It's by loving Krishna. When one loves Krishna, automatically everyone else, the affection is there. So that's a test of our Krishna consciousness. If we're actually feeling compassion and love and goodwill to everyone, that's a sign that we're advancing in Krishna consciousness. So anything else here? Therefore, he described Lokamangala. What a run of Lokamangala. Like that. is auspicious for everyone. There's no party line, right? Someone's talking about the midterm elections now. Is that here you go? What do you think about the midterm elections? Us and them. There's no us and them. Don't think like that. Everyone is one's feeling, affection and it's just us. We're all Krishna bhaktas like that. So that's a devotee. He doesn't. In fact, Prabhupada says that a devotee is peaceful because he's not a party. He's not on a particular party line. Therefore, a devotee is very, very peaceful. I don't have a party line. I'm a servant of Krishna, who's the Lord of everyone. There's no party line there. So therefore, a devotee is very, very peaceful. So, are there any questions or comments on this very instructive and wonderful verse about Lord Shiva? In fact, Lord Shiva started his own sampradaya for distributing Krishna consciousness. What's that called? What's the Lord Shiva's sampradaya called? Rudra, the Rudra sampradaya. Like that, so. Okay. Hare Krishna. Everyone's satisfied. Lord Shiva? Yes, he did. He called Lord Chaitanya right out of the spiritual world. I think that's brought up in one of these purports soon, isn't it? Yeah, there's a Dvaitacharya. Lord Shiva actually, in the form of a Dvaitacharya, pulled Lord Chaitanya right out of the spiritual world. Lord Chaitanya said, I was sleeping on Seshanaga, and he woke me up. He brought me here. Like that. So, it's because of, why? Vishwasuridam Lokamangalam. He's kind and merciful, and you could see the suffering, so he just pulled the Lord out of the spiritual world in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to deliver everyone in the age of Kali. So, some different things. Anything else? Everyone's happy? That's good. Yes? Is. Well, Sadashiva, the original source of Rudra, that's the glance of Vishnu, is Sadashiva, and from that comes Rudra and Lord Shiva. So that is Advaita. He is. Mahavishnu. It's combined. Oh, yeah. Just those two I wouldn't limit him in that way. Just those. Just. No, it's Sadashiva and Mahavishnu combination. Yes. Unlimited glories. Advaitacharya, unlimited glories. I just heard a wonderful pastime. You want to hear it? I read it in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And we're talking about offenses. Okay, here's very good, because this is Lord Chaitanya instructing about being offensive to devotees. His own mother was denied pure devotional service. Sachimata, who is Mother Yashoda, and right? Why was she denied pure devotional service? Because she said some things against Advaitacharya. What happened was her first son, right, Vishwarup, he started associating with Advaitacharya. In fact, just almost there the whole time, because he found someone who was speaking about pure devotional service. It's an expansion of Lord Nityananda. So just all the time, and then finally what happens is he takes sannyas at a young age and leaves, and she blames Advaitacharya. By his association, he got all fired up about Hare Krishna, and he went and took sannyas, right? And then all of a sudden, Lord Chaitanya, Nimai, like that, he starts spending a lot of time, and in her mind she's thinking, oh yeah, now he's broke my heart, my first son is gone, my husband's passed away, and now he's going to convince Nimai to take sannyas. And in her mind, in this way, she was offensively thinking about Advaita. So there's one of these pastimes where the kirtan at Srivasanga, and the devotees asked, why don't you give pure love to your mother? And he explained why. So they approached Srivas Thakur, and if there's approached Advaita right there and asked, why don't you, because Lord Chaitanya said, I can't. Just as Durvas Muni had to go and beg forgiveness from Ambarish Maharaj, Advaita has to forgive her. If Advaita forgives her, then I will forgive her, and I'll bless her with pure devotional service. So they approach Advaita over in the courtyard and so on, and explain the situation, and he says he can't understand how it's dependent upon him. Because this is Sachimata. She is Mother Yashoda. She's the supreme devotee and so on. And he starts glorifying her, and then he passes out in ecstasy, just glorifying Mother Sachi. So Mother Sachi's off in the little room there, and she sees that and comes in and falls at the feet of Advaita and takes the dust from his feet. And because of that, she faints. So both of them are fainted in ecstasy in the courtyard. And when Lord Chaitanya sees this, he goes, okay, pure love of God. He gives her pure love of God. But he would not give her pure love of God until because of that little offense. So let's describing here, we're all talking about Vaishnava aparads. It blocks. It doesn't matter who you or what you are, it blocks everything. A big, gigantic, just like Mr. Trump, trying to get all these big walls built between, all you see some of these pictures, these gigantic walls between Mexico and America. So that's nothing compared to the wall that goes up when there's Vaishnava aparad. So that's a nice story. Any question?
Did you say that Shachimata said bad things or just thought bad things toward Advaitacharya?
She might have said, but not like in public or something like that. She made the statement. I think it made the statement that she's lamenting in her house that this Advaitacharya, he's going to take my other son. And she was upset with him. Just that. It seemed to be a very light thing. She didn't go out like nowadays you go on the internet, you blaspheme everyone left and right. Put it out in the universe there. Your thoughts, your Vaishnava aparad goes out on the internet, and you post it on all kinds of sites, aparad, sites and so on. It's not like that. She just, was thinking and maybe said to herself or in the home, no. And she thought, I imagine there is. People talk about all the kinds of things they see online, so I don't know. Any site that allows aparads would be classified as an aparad site, right? Otherwise, the editors of that site would not allow such things to be posted. Yes. Anything else? So we'll end with that ecstatic story. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Sachimata ki jai, Shri Advaitacharya ki jai, Anantikoti Vaishnava Binda ki jai.